Welcome to this lesson 40 of Wednesdays with English with a Twist, otherwise known as EWAT. So hi guys, hey, how's everyone? This is Shanti Kumaraswamy Street, your business English trainer from English with a Twist, EWAT. And this is lesson 40 of Wednesdays with EWAT. Do you know, I think this is nearly a year since Wednesdays with EWAT was launched. And, you know, with a few breaks here and there, like last week, then, you know, we've come to the 40th episode or lesson. So I'm thrilled to be here. This is Wednesday, the 11th of October. How is everyone doing? Are you preparing for the autumn, for the spring, if you're down in the southern hemisphere, or for more of the same sort of weather wherever you are? And so please make yourself visible to me. Tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're my regulars, thank you so much for tuning in to this afternoon's class and this week's class. And if you're new to EWAT, welcome to English with a Twist. Don't forget, before we start, to join the EWAT community, which is an ever-growing, dynamic, vibrant community of business English learners looking to excel and to communicate confidently and with equality in English for work, for their business, so that it empowers them to feel confident, to feel equal to their English-speaking colleagues. That's what we're all about here. This is our mission statement. So join me for this class. I am now going to have a look at the Facebook page. I want to see who's tuning in at the moment. Hey everyone, I can see lots of thumbs up. Thank you. Lovely to see you guys. Let me just refresh my page, and I just want to see who's joining. I can see a number of people joining in, and I hope that in today's class we are all ready, because this lesson 40, so it's our big milestone lesson, we're going to be looking at pronunciation. Hands up all those who love English pronunciation. I do, yes, anyone? Yeah, drives you all mad. Genevieve, hi. Jen, hi. Gabriela, lovely to see you again. Oh, thank you very much, Jen. Lovely compliment. And Gabriela from Argentina, lovely to see you. Actually, now I'm getting to see all the notes on my phone rather than down here. So let me just see. So we're talking pronunciation today. So today the focus is all on you, not me. So make sure that you are ready to share with me the most difficult words you find to pronounce in English. And so then let me help you learn how to pronounce them correctly. Now, I am going to make this very clear. This is not about having an accent, okay? You can have any accent you want. And in fact, I encourage people to keep their accents, because accents make your personality, make you interesting. This is about pronunciation. This is about pronouncing the words so that people understand what you're saying. You can still pronounce those words with an Italian accent, a Spanish accent, North English accent, and that's perfectly fine, so long as people understand you, okay? So we're not talking accent here, we're talking pronunciation. Now let me just, as I said, I'm looking onto my Facebook page. I want to see who's joining. So there's Jen, lovely people joining in, wonderful. Okay, now what got me thinking about today's lesson on pronunciation? Well, I just want to share a little story with you. In the last few days, unfortunately, our dog, who's like our little boy, we don't have children, so my husband and I have our dog, Buster, and he hasn't been very well, unfortunately, and we had to take him to the vets. Now, the first vet we went to see is a Spanish speaker. And she was talking to us about, you know, what was wrong with our dog, Buster. And as we were listening to her, as we were talking to her, I noticed that there were moments when I found it really difficult to understand her. Now, I work, as you know, with a lot of non-native speakers of English, people like yourselves from all over the world. And, you know, what I found was it wasn't so much her accent, she had a Spanish accent, but it was how she was pronouncing some of her words. And that got me thinking about what are the issues with pronunciation. Often I find that non-native speakers, particularly people like vets, like doctors, in professional roles, will start speaking to you in English, and they're very, very knowledgeable, and they're then trying to describe something that is pretty difficult to talk about. For example, she was trying to explain to us what was wrong with our dog, and so she has to use a lot of scientific language. But the problem here was, it was more she was trying to speak too fast. And so what would happen was that she was eating her words. And so there were moments when I struggled to understand her. And now, me as a business English trainer, I am used to hearing different accents and different pronunciations. So I really struggle to understand her. And I know my husband at one point said to me, I really don't know what she's saying. And I said, I understand. It's not her accent. It's the fact that she's trying to say the words too fast. And so then the words get eaten. So one of the tips I'd like to share with you here is, when you're speaking, don't worry so much about your accent. Your accent's going to be wonderful. Don't be too much in a hurry, in a rush to speak too fast. Slow down, and if you know there are certain words that are going to be difficult to pronounce, take some time to pronounce them slowly. That way the person who's listening to you can understand you. Because here's the thing with the vet. She was talking about quite complex syndromes, things like vestibular syndrome, idiopathic. Now, words that are not usual for me, even as a native speaker, so it was quite hard for me to understand. So slowing down and making sure you can pronounce those words can help hugely when you're trying to communicate with each other. Because she then said to me, oh sorry, it's my pronunciation. And I didn't want to say to her, actually, yes, but nothing to do with your accent, but because you were talking too fast. So I'm beginning to think that maybe I'll offer her a pronunciation course. But what I want to always say to you, and there's one thing I want you to remember, never apologize for your accent, but remember that if you are talking about something that's quite complex and the person you're speaking to does not really understand your world and the words that you're using, slow down and repeat it a few times, and don't go too fast, because people will find it very hard to follow what you're saying. Hello Cardenia, lovely to see you. I'm so glad you've joined today's class. And I saw also that Dohan joined this class. Dohan, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for taking the time out to listen to this lesson 40. So people, my fellow EWATers, today is your class. We are going to be looking at, if we have time, and I'd like us to have time, is because we're looking at lesson 40 in the series of Wednesdays with EWAT, we're going to look at 40 words that you find really difficult to pronounce in English. Okay, so I want you to share with me in the chat box. Write them down, and let's make a note of the words that you find difficult, and I will help you pronounce them. And not only that, I'm also then going to give you some tips and resources where you can help yourself pronounce correctly, or where you see new words in English and you're not sure how to pronounce them. Now, many people tell me, oh Shanti, it's so difficult, and I agree. There are still so many words that I come across in English that I think I really don't understand how to pronounce that. Now we have so many online dictionaries that give you the chance, the opportunity to test to hear how the word is pronounced. It could be in British English, it could be in American English. So there are great ways for you to hear it, because if you're not familiar with the International Phonetic Alphabet, then that can help you. Michael, you're being naughty. You have just written out, and I will see here, if any of you can see it on the Facebook page, he is taking the word from Mary Poppins, which is a very long word, and I will tell you how it's pronounced. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Right, so Michael, are you going to try that? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Yeah, now that was good because there was a song to that, so you kind of learned the rhythm of doing that. Come on, Michael, be serious. This is very important stuff. We have to get cracking, talking about business. Think about the last time you had to communicate in business. What was the word that you found really difficult to pronounce? And share it with me. Great, Luciana, thank you so much. You have come up with, 2 words, adjective. Okay, and 1 word here, valuable. Wonderful. So the word is valuable. 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 Keiko, hi, lovely to see you. Welcome to the class. So valuable. Good. I am seeing lots of new words coming in. Oh gosh, some words are quite difficult, guys. Okay, the next word, Ruma has just shown us, and I think you will see it in the chat box. So do keep an eye on the chat box if you've got the Facebook page open. Ruma has just come up with the word expeditiously. Expeditiously. Now, with the recording of this, go back and listen to it, and then try and repeat. So once I've said it, then pause the recording and try it yourself. So the word is expeditiously. So expeditiously. Good. Thank you. Thank you for that, Ruma. So do join in. Tell me, hi Rakesh. Let me know what other words you find difficult. Let me give you some, okay? So let's look at one of the words that causes people some confusion. The word is doubt. Now I'm going to write it in the chat box and you tell me whether it's something you have. So it is spelled D-O-U-B-T and we pronounce it doubt. So we have the word is, the B is silent. So it's doubt. Good. And someone just wrote down the word owl. Okay, Luciana, you've come up with another one. Yes, the difference between where, so where is the phone, and were. So yes, those are 2 vowel sounds that we find difficult. So where versus were. So think about it, it's where, so the sound of the vowel is a, and were, Now this sound is what we call in pronunciation the schwa sound. The English pronunciation schwa, So think boy. Now is the most recognized and the most used sound in the English language. So were, where. Roxanne, you've given me one word, bowl. So the sound is an owl, bowl. Yeah, so it's bowl. Another word could be show. So it's that vowel sound that you've got, O. Pooja, poem. So the word is poem, poem. Again, that sound is the schwa sound, poem. It's not poem, it's poem. Now please remember, my pronunciation is British English pronunciation. American pronunciation has a different way of sounding, so just bear in mind. Pooja, spaghetti is, yes, spaghetti. So Gabriela, you've come up with another word. Good. Dough. So the dough that we use to make pasta, to make bread, is dough. So it's spelled D-O-U-G-H, dough. So show, bowl, the same sound. And Michael, you said silhouette. So the word silhouette, which is a French word, so we pronounce it very much like the French. So it is spelled silhouette. Silhouette. Good. Cardenia, as an Italian speaker, you come up with the sound, the th sound, the th sound. The th sound, which is the strong sound, as opposed to, so the difference is then versus these. So then, so then, these are very soft sounds, but thick is a th sound. So you got to put your tongue between your teeth. Yes, the is a softer sound. So the tongue is behind your teeth. Okay, let me write down. Am I going too fast? You guys are going very fast. Now, some people are writing words that are French words. Ruma, I've seen you do that. Keiko, the same. Who gave me genre? Right, so now there are 3 words here that come from the French language. As you know, the French language has given us a lot of words in. So we have, the first one is facade. So it's facade. Facade. So again, it's that schwa sound for the vowel. Facade. You have silhouette, like Michael said. Then someone said, and I'm sorry if I've forgotten now, it's genre. Genre. Now, genre, what does that mean? Genre, we talk about films. That's a type. It's a type of book or a type of film. So the genre. So we pronounce it very much like the French pronounce it. Genre. Michael also came up with rendezvous. I have a rendezvous with a friend. In business English, we tend to use I have a meeting. A rendezvous is more literary, but we tend to use meeting more. But rendezvous pronounced in the same way as French. So if you're a French speaker, you will find it easier. Okay, Michael. Michael's given us another French word, Grand Prix. But I think that's easy because everyone tends to know how to pronounce it. Okay, let's get serious now. Let's look at some other words that you find difficult to pronounce. Here's one I had from one of my clients, and she sent it to me and said, this is a word I find difficult to pronounce. So it's this word. Exception. So accept, exception. Accept, exception. Yeah, so X, that EX, if you imagine the sound is X. Exception. Except X. So the X, the X sound is, you imagine you have a K sound. Luciana has come up with another word, very nice, which is miscellaneous. Miscellaneous. Great, so miscellaneous. Good. Oh, Radu has just said to me, come on, spelling pronunciations are easy. We need grammar, verbs, noun, plurals, defective, singular defectives, foot, feet. I think that's quite low level, Radu. We're looking upper level here, where we are talking about higher level, and we're looking at pronunciation. And the more we become, we progress with our English, the harder some of this pronunciation becomes, because you end up discovering new words that are difficult to pronounce. Genre, I'm sorry if I have mispronounced your name. Can I call you Mark? Much easier. You've come up with a very good word. In fact, that is a word that I often am not too sure how to pronounce. So let's look at this. Some people would say it's a preface, but really the pronunciation is the preface. The preface. The preface to this. So preface. So imagine you have this sound, the preface. The face is a different word, but preface is how we would pronounce it, the preface. Yeah, good one, very good, because that's not always easy to know. And often what I say to clients is have a look in an online dictionary because they will give you an example of what it sounds. And the tip here is when you hear it, then try to repeat it yourself. So listen to it, repeat it. If you can, record yourself saying the words and then listen back so you can compare yourself to what the other person has said. So that way you can keep practicing. Maria, you have just given us another word, which is awe. A-W-E is spelled awe. And that's also where the word awful comes from, awe. So it's quite easy. It's a sort of a diphthong sound, which is a longer vowel sound, awe. Michael, you've given us another word. I'm thanking you guys for this. Crevice. The word is crevice. Crevice. Good. Pooja, you've given us the difference between advise and advice. Okay, so we have two words here. We have the verb advise with an S. So the pronunciation is advise. So the S sounds like a Z sound. And advice. So advice has an S sound, the S sound in pronunciation. So I'd like to advise you, so it's a softer sound, Z sound, and I'm going to give you a piece of advice, the S sound in pronunciation. Michael, you're on a roll today. You've come up with another word, which is dubious. Dubious. So it's spelled D-U-B-I-O-U-S, but the word is pronounced dubious. Dubious. Now hear that vowel sound again, that sound. Dubious. Us. That schwa sound. That schwa sound in English pronunciation again, always everywhere you'll hear. Okay, let me give you another word now. We had exception, except. We had doubt. How about this word? And I'm going to write it down in the comments box, the chat box. How do you pronounce that? Now, we pronounce it in English as hiccup. Hiccup. You know when you hiccup? So you hiccup. It's also spelled H-I-C-C-U-P. And I believe that spelling is the American spelling, which makes much more sense than the British English spelling. Don't you agree? I mean, hiccup, spelled O-U-G-H, how are you going to know it's pronounced hiccup? Yeah, Michael, hiccup, American English spelling makes far more sense. And I agree. Sometimes the American spelling is much more logical than British English. Why? Because British English, why are we so illogical? Because a lot of British English has come from French and from other languages, and it's evolved over time, but we've kept some of the spelling. And then we just like to confuse everyone by introducing another way of pronouncing it. I'm sorry, I know that's just how we are. Okay, everyone, come on, join. I do remember Keiko. Sorry, I did forget. You did write down a word you wanted me to pronounce for you, which is déjà vu. Déjà vu. Now, that is actually a French word. So déjà vu, it's already been seen. It's a déjà vu moment. Now, in French, the French pronunciation is déjà vu. Vu. But in English, we say déjà vu. Déjà vu. Oh, God, that's a déjà vu moment. Didn't we just have that situation? Wow. Okay, so déjà vu. Yes, but it's written in two words. There are two words. But again, from the French language. Okay, now the next one is this. So let me write this out. Okay, this word which sometimes causes some problems for some people. Now this is the word comfortable, comfortable. It is not comfortable. It's not comfortable. It's comfortable. So let's look at how in pronunciation how it would be. It would be comfortable, comfortable, comfortable. So we drop that O. It's pronounced, it is written comfortable, but it's comfortable. Now, what I'm writing here in these little signs is the phonetic sounds. And if you look at a dictionary, a good dictionary will always give you the phonetic sound. So if you know the phonetic sounds, then that helps you. Keiko, similarly, that table, vegetable, vegetable. That's excellent. So you've got comfortable and then you've got vegetable. So the sound is, if you can imagine it written, it is this sound, vegetable. So that sound, that schwa sound again, vegetable, comfortable, portable. So imagine when you have something that's portable, comfortable. Yes, that's great, Arnese. Yes, exactly. Comfortable, not comfortable, comfortable, and not so that the schwa sound, that famous schwa sound, is the sound. Yes. Okay, Vipa, you're obviously thinking cocktails here because you've just given me a Spanish word, I think, which is the cocktail, the mojito. The mojito. Well, that's not actually English pronunciation. That's Spanish, and I do hope my pronunciation was correct. Radu, you've come up with an interesting word. Do you know what it means? The pronunciation for that is casuistry. Casuistry. So it's just like the word casual. So if you have the word casual, is casual. Casual. If you imagine the word television, it's that sound, the j sound that we have. So casual, casuistry, casuistry. So imagine the casuistry. Yeah, so some words are great and then you just think, oh, I like the sound of it. So keep pronouncing it. Keep testing yourself. Casual. Oh, I like that. That looks very casual. All right, Michael, you've come up with another one. So we talk about the monarchy. So the monarchy. So what's the sound? The sound is monarchy. So if you look at it written as in the International Pronunciation Phonetic Alphabet, sorry, then you can pronounce it monarchy. Remember, look at that sound again, that schwa sound, monarchy, monarchy, monarchy. So the CH, which in some languages has a sh sound, like in French, but in, for example, Italian, it would be a k sound. So monarchy, monarchy. So it's not monarchy, it's monarchy. So forget syllable stress. We won't be looking at syllable stress today. Just the pronunciation. Great stuff. How are you all doing? Let's look at another one. So we've had comfortable, we've had vegetable, we have portable. Viba, you've come up with a nice one again with this EX sound, which is a K sound. X, X. So remember we had accept, exception, and now Viba has just given us a word called, which is pronounced exquisite, exquisite, exquisite. Now that's really hard. That's really hard because you have accept, exception, so you have that S sound. Yeah, so exquisite. Imagine what have you got as a sound here. You've got exquisite, exquisite. So that's the sound, exquisite, exquisite. 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 It's exquisite. Exquisite. Some people pronounce it as exquisite. So the syllable is on the top, or you can have exquisite, the syllable and the last syllable, the stress on the last syllable. Let me just see. I don't want to miss anyone here. Arneza, you've come up with, how about the word earth? So here we go. It's the TH sound that Cardenia came up with earlier, which is earth. That th sound, that difficult sound for a number of different speakers, including Italian speakers, the th sound, TH, th. So we have earth. Michael has come up with another one, fantastic, serendipity, serendipity, serendipity. That is pronounced the way you see it. And another one, Michael, is squid, squid. So again, it's that k sound, squ. So it's squid. I don't know whether I'm inventing some of these phonetic sounds, so I'm hoping that you can see it. Squid. Yes. And disguise. Disguise. So disguise, disguise. That's the word you've just given me. And palace. So how about palace? So you have the palace where the king and queen live. Palace. Palace. Yeah, again that schwa sound. Us. Palace. Good. Right. Bonnie, I'm not too sure I've ever seen that word you've just written. So could you enlighten me? Because I'd love to know what that word is. That'd be great if you could. Excellent. So let's look at another word I've come up with. So, which is this word. If only I could spell correctly when I write in my chat box. This word is pretty hard to pronounce for a lot of people, which is deteriorate. 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 Try repeating. Deteriorate. 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 From there we can have also the noun that says deterioration. Deterioration. That's a hard one. Deterioration. Michael, nice. Anecdote. An anecdote. What is an anecdote? It's a story. So anecdote. So yes, Michael, deteriorate is, if we imagine deteriorate, which is deteriorate. 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 How are we doing? I don't know how many words we've come up with. I've just been saying them. I hope someone's keeping count of the words we're covering here today. Excellent. Now, there are two words that often cause a lot of confusion to my clients. And I've noticed this more recently where I've been teaching a corporate business, a corporate program for a company. And it's these two words. I'm just writing down the other words you've given me. Wow, nice. Like it. Like it. Oh, very good. I'm glad you guys are giving me these words. I'm making a note. Now, there are two words here. I find. Do you find this difficult to pronounce? Okay. These 2 days of the week. How are we going to pronounce it? The first one is Tuesday. Tuesday. So see how your mouth is going. It's Tuesday. Tew. So imagine the sound is chew. Tuesday. Tuesday. Yeah, so you got Monday, Tew. So the J that we have in phonetics is a Y sound, a Y. So you've got Tuesday. What about the other one? The other one is Thursday. So that's that difficult sound. So we have Thursday. Yes, it's a bit like thirst actually, Michael. Yes, although we don't have the t sound at the end. Thursday. Tuesday, Thursday. Okay, so we have 2 more words. Cardenia, you've just given me 2 words, which is thigh, your thigh, which is the part of your leg above your knee, thigh, and strength, strength, strength. So thigh, so you're putting your tongue between your teeth, thigh, and strength, strength. Great. Excellent. Now, I'm going back to looking at, oh yes, so what did someone, who gave me one word was consciousness, consciousness. Excellent. So consciousness. Again, that schwa sound, consciousness, consciousness. The other one that I think Keiko gave me, which was palette, palette. So when we talk about palette, we talk about the palette of a painter. So a painter has a palette and they paint from that. But then there's another word that has the same sound, which is a homophone, which is palette. Palette and palette. Yeah, so they have the same sound, 2 different spellings. The palate, P-A-L-A-T-E, is our taste. We have a very refined palate. You know, I can't eat anything that's too strong. You know, I like refined food. Oh my goodness, I cannot eat anything that's too spicy. So my palate refers to my taste. But the palette, L-E-T-T-E, is the little board that a painter has to put their picture, their paints, their colors. Yeah, but it has the same pronunciation, palette. So it depends on the context in which you're speaking to know which word is which. Great. Michael has come up with another word, which is feisty. Feisty. Someone who's feisty, they have a lot of personality, they have a lot of energy, they're feisty. So that's what you have. Alexan, you come up, Alexan. Oh, that's another word. Your name, how do I pronounce it? That'd be interesting. Little, little. So, little. Little is pronounced this way. And of course, again, we have the schwa sound. Little, little, little. Yeah, that's our sound. That schwa sound is always everywhere. Now, we have consciousness, palate, we had feisty, and we had deity. And I think one of you got it right, deity. I think that was, oh, I can't remember. I've got to look up on the notes here. You came up with the word deity. Great. And then we've got thigh, and we have strength. So let me see. You're coming up with lots of ideas. Let's look at another word. So we had Tuesday and Thursday. How about this word? So we have hostile. Hostile. Now, in British English, we pronounce the last bit as tile. A-I-L. Hostile. Not a tail. Hostile. Isle. But in American English, often you'll hear the word hostile. It's a hostile takeover. Hostile. Hostile. Yeah, and either pronunciation is correct. It depends who you're speaking to. An American English or a British English. In British English, you will hear more often hostile. So hostile. Great. Excellent. Ria, you come up with an interesting word for this bird, which is a toucan. Toucan bird. Toucan. Kun. Again, schwa sound. We love that schwa sound. A toucan bird. Excellent. Good. So hostile. So compared to American English, which is hostile. Now, one word that apparently when I was doing some research, even native speakers find difficult to understand. Yes, Michael, sorry to interrupt. Michael, another word is volatile. Exactly. Volatile, hostile. Excellent. Great. Great stuff. And Mark, you've come up with science. Science. So how does science, how do we say it? So we're pronouncing it science. So we need that extra schwa sound, that extra vowel sound. Science, science. Yeah, science. So it comes from French, science, but we call it science. It comes from Latin. I mean, a lot of English words come from the Latin but we pronounce it science. And how do we use the person? The person is a scientist. 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 Sophie, you said direct. Okay, direct or anybody? Are those the two words you have problems with? Direct and anybody. Anybody. So it's anybody. So we don't go anybody. We don't say anybody. We say anybody. So that schwa sound again. Anybody. Buddy. Buddy. So imagine we're keeping our mouth small and we're just saying anybody. Michael, you're coming up with some great words. Ambidextrous. Ambidextrous, your ability to use both hands when writing, or you're able to do things equally well with both hands. Great. Yes, we've already had miscellaneous. And Alexandre, you're saying tortoise. So we don't say tortoise, it's tortoise. Tortoise. Very good one, Deepa. You've come up with two words here. We are looking at duel and duel. Duel and duel. Interesting, because some people might pronounce it exactly the same, but I would say dew. So here we are. This is the sound we're going to be looking at. Dew, dew. So imagine it's a dew. So it's not a d, it's a dew. So with a j sound. So let me just put that jewel, jewel. So it's a jewel, duel, and a duel. Duel will sound, the second word will sound jewel. So I'm just writing it down for you. So then we are pronouncing it just duel. Yeah, so he challenged him to a duel. But duel is two. Yeah, so antibodies. Yeah, so Michael, we have an antibody. We have an antibody. Not antibody, antibody. Mark, your word is curious. Curious. Rius. So Q. So imagine it's a Q sound. Curious. Radu, you're coming. That's very interesting because you've got the two vowel sounds that are very different. You've got bed, so bed. So the sound is bed, like you see it written, and bad. So I'm not going to bed tonight. I'm going to bed. So the mouth stays smaller, but bad, your mouth gets bigger. So that's great. So Deepa, nice word. Ambiguity. So you're breaking that down. Ambiguity. Michael, it will be the same as bad. Bat. A bad, and it's a bat. Or I bat my stick. Or a cricket bat. A cricket bat is how we use it. So it's the ah sound. in the English language, not the and not the a. Now, one of the things, I'm just going to give you a quick tip here. If you have a smartphone, tablet, and I'm sure most of you do, then I would like you to have a look. Go and check out Macmillan's app called Sounds. A Macmillan app called Sounds. It's free, and that app is brilliant because it gives you a great way of pronouncing your IP, the International Phonetic Sounds. If you go onto your app store and look for Macmillan Sounds, so Macmillan is the publishers, and they will show you how, and it's a great way for you to have the International Phonetic Alphabet on your phone. So whenever you're not too sure about a sound, you can test it, you can listen to it and repeat. So have a look at that. Excuse me, I'm just going to have some water. And so then you can see what you can hear, what the different sounds are like. Let me just show you. Actually, I'm going to see if I can share it with you here on my iPad. Let me go to it. Yes, I don't know whether you can. Okay, so don't know whether you can all see my iPad. If you can see my iPad, let me know. But it's this one here. I don't know whether I might be doing the long. There are two there. It sort of has that sign, AE, and those are the two apps. There's one that's a free option. That option. Okay, Deepa, you've got it. You find it useful. That's great, because I recommend that to all my clients to download it and put it on their phone or in their iPad, because it's a great way of helping you when you're not too sure about the sounds. So let me show you, for example, if you need to look at the chart. This is what the phonetic sounds look like. This is the alphabet in the English language. So if you look at that and you go, oh my word, oh my goodness, I don't understand this. So they will give you, and if you press each of them, it gives you the sound. And then there's lots of ways that you can practice, because you can look at, and let me go back here. You have, yes, it is free, Arneza. It is free. There is also a paid version that will allow you to do more things with it. Let me just go back. I'm just going to turn it round. If whenever you want things to work, it never does. Just bear with me, and I'm just going to see. No, this is trying to do things which I don't want it to do. Okay, let me go to excellent. So this is the paid version. So the paid version, yes, OMG, oh my God, Michael, yes. So you've got the chart, and then you have things like a word list. I don't know whether you can see this properly, because sometimes the screen, you've got word list, practice, you can do a quiz, there's lots of things. Like, so for example, if you want to practice, you can read, and you can choose the phonetic sounds that you find the most difficult. For example, if one of the sounds, like Cardenia mentioned, which a lot of Italian speakers have, which is the TH sound, then you can put it in and then practice it. And you can do it with reading, writing, and listening. So it gives you a word, and you need to try and imagine how you would write it. And this is a great way of practicing your pronunciation. And yes, go download the free app, and that gives you things. And if you want, you can then go for the paid app, and that gives you much more practice. But enjoy it. And what I find is the chart, because it gets you used to the phonetic sounds in English. Because as we all know, the spelling in English does not relate often to how the words are pronounced. So I like to encourage my clients, when they're looking at dictionaries, discovering new words, find out how the word sounds, and you can do that on online dictionaries, and you can also play around with the words on this app. So try it out, okay? So that's just a tip for you, because I found it very, very helpful when I'm helping, when I'm coaching my clients. And, I would recommend that you do that. Now, let me open up my, where am I? I've lost track of where I was. And here we are. Good. So how are we doing with words? Yes, Radu, you says the Macmillan books are good. Now, I've lost track. People, what other words have you come up with? We're almost coming up to the end of the class. What I'll do is I'll make a list of all the other words if I wasn't able to practice with you to show you how it sounds. But let's see. I'm looking and I can't see anymore at the moment because the screen's not giving me. One word I found that most people found very difficult to pronounce is rural. I don't know why actually, but rural. So rural. And again, the sound is rural. So it's again that schwa sound, rural. Rural is the opposite of urban. It's to do with the countryside. Another word that confuses a lot of people is the word clothes. I don't know, I get a number of clients who will pronounce it closes. It's not closes. It's clothes, clothes, clothes. So again, you can write down these words and then try and hear it. If you put it down in an online dictionary, it will tell you how it sounds. And then try and practice it yourself. Now, as I say, a lot of these words we can mispronounce. And it doesn't matter a lot of the time. But these ones, where they're difficult to pronounce and you find it difficult, make an effort to practice pronouncing these words. Because that way you are, sorry, Deepa, rural. No, rural. It's rural, rural. It's not the long sound, it's the shorter vowel sound. Rural. It's not rural. Yeah, but good, Deepa. So what was I saying with the pronunciation? If you've got words that you need to communicate, you're communicating a message, which could be quite difficult already as a message because you're dealing with a subject that's more difficult, then pay attention to the words. If you find them difficult to pronounce, make some time. Take a moment to pronounce them correctly. And take your time when you're pronouncing those words. You don't have to rush your words. Because the more you rush, the more you'll eat your words. And then it becomes very difficult for the other person to understand what you're saying. And, and I don't want anyone to think, oh, it's my accent. Oh, it's because I don't speak English well. You speak English well. Definitely, I'm sure you do. But English pronunciation is difficult. It can be difficult. So what you need is to give yourself that time to pronounce things carefully and correctly. And if you need to do that, use the tools that we have that are freely available online to practice that pronunciation. Because I tell you, there are so many words that even me, as someone who's been speaking English all her life, there are still going to be words that I think I really still don't know how to pronounce it. And I need to check and double check. And fine, no problem. Doesn't matter. Check it. Do it. Don't ever apologize for being wrong. Just double check it and get it right the next time. And that's all you have to do. Hey everyone, this has been great. And I am so glad. I'm not too sure we covered 40 words, although that was my intention. But I don't think we did. But it doesn't matter because I am just so thrilled that all of you got involved. You shared with me your words. And Deepa, that word you've just given me is mellifluous, mellifluous. And Michael, hedonistic. Oh, are you? Have you got a hedonistic lifestyle, Michael? Interesting. So mellifluous, hedonistic. So all these new words you see and you think, oh, I'd love to know what they sound like. Listen to it online, try and practice it, keep repeating it, record yourself. Recording yourself also allows you to compare how you sound against what they sound, and then you get to see whether it's correct or not. Deeper, Hellenistic, so something to do with Greece, something that's Hellenistic. Okay folks, I think we've done really well here. Thank you so much for joining me on this milestone lesson, lesson 40 of pronunciation. If you want more pronunciation practice, if you want to know what they sound like, let me know. Drop me a line on shanti@englishwithatwist.com and tell me these are the words I find difficult, and I will put together another class and share with you. Or I might write a blog post and record that blog post so that you get to hear what it sounds like. In the meantime, I want to thank all of you, Deepa, Jen, Michael, Keiko, everyone, Radu, everyone who joined in and contributed to this class, because it's fantastic. The more you contribute, the more you do it. Gabriela, thank you so much. And if you haven't joined the EWAT community, I'm going to say, what are you waiting for? I'm expecting you in there. I want to see you part of this community. And let's look forward to seeing you next week, which is going to be what? October the 18th for lesson 41. Share with me again. I keep asking you folks, what do you want to hear? What is your next lesson? What would you like? Always to do with business English, to do with business communication. You know, at the end of the day, good communication is clear communication. It's good communication doesn't have to be sophisticated communication. It's plain English, clear English. So take that time to practice those words that you find difficult. And let's share, because that's the only way that you and I get to share, get to help each other and empower each other. And thank you ever so much for all of you sharing with each other, because that's the only way that we all grow and improve with our English. Happy English. Keep working on your English, folks. It's been a great pleasure seeing you again. See you next week. Ciao, Sophie. Ciao, Cardenia. Ciao, everybody. And I'll see you next week. Ciao for now.